Hey, what up, guys? Jungle Boy 57. One more time, we're out here, bro. We're learning one thing every single day, bro. Yesterday we did counting in Chinese, and today we're going to be reading this book. It's called Winning Every Day by Lo Holtz. Lo Holtz. That's the name over here. So we're going to be doing this. It's pretty cool. Yeah, let's start our timer. Yeah, still my hand's broken, but anyway, so that timer is, we're going to start. Let's see how long it's going to take us to do this. Start, bam. Okay, let's do it, bro. Let's do it. So this book is going to help me with my English. So I don't speak perfectly. If you guys want to read, if you guys want to listen for me until I finish, maybe I might put you to sleep. That'll be great because my accent is not that great. But anyway, bro. But anyway, so like and subscribe. Okay. Alrighty, so let's do this. Let's start with the first page. It says praise for Lo Holtz, winning every day. A game the game plan for, oh yeah, this is, don't forget, it's 200. It is 219. I don't know if you can see 219 pages right there. So let's start. It says winning every day, the game plan for success. Let's read that. Coach Holtz has written an inspiring and charming book in which he shares with us the gems of his experience as a great leader, devoted husband, and compassionate humanitarian. A quick, delightful read. General Colin L. Powell, U.S. Whatever, I think he did that. Then there's another. There are quotes. There are quotes we're reading. Seldom do we experience that charisma and character of a dynamic personality such as Lo Holtz, the very successful former football coach. Oh, he was a football coach of Notre Dame. Lo has left his distinctive mark of success everywhere he has coached. Winning, winning every day is not just a catchy phrase, but with Coach Holtz, a way of life. Carl Poland, president. Okay, we got one more. It says, winning every day, the game plan for success is a book for every would-be winner. We want to be a winner, right? Whatever their occupation or goal in life might be, it is direct, clear-cut, concise, profound, humorous, wise, and precise, and it's recommended for how to win every day. The book is right here, bro. I'm reading it. I don't want to hold it right there, but I'm reading it right here. Okay, where we were, man. Okay. That was for Zig Ziglar, and one more. Coach Holtz has a vast reservoir of knowledge and experience in the key elements of living a successful life. Using football as his primary vehicle, he provides a most inspiring and motivational treatise. Oh, man, treatise is Treatise, conveyed in the falsy and off times. All right, there's a lot of quotes. Okay. Humorous manner not only is winning every day, it's a very important book to read, but also a complete and utter joy. This is by John Wick. John W.J. Another quote. Lo Holtz is a brilliant strategist, a first-class motivator, and an inspiring role model. Winning, winning every day. Winning every day coaches you through the hard-won lessons of life that Coach Holtz has gleaned from a lifetime of learning. Using personal behind-the-scenes experience, he shows you how to break through obstacles, capitalize on fleeting opportunities, and achieve success. There is no better mentor than Lo Holtz. And this book cost me like $1.50. I bought it on the thrift store. Okay. But anyway, the quote that I read, it was by Peter Lowy, President and Chief Executive Officer. Oh man. Another quote. Law has taken his wisdom and principles of winning on the oh yeah, there's a new word. I didn't know what is gridiron and translated them successfully for implementation into daily life. He has also included his patented brand of humor throughout, making this an informative as well as enjoyable read by Barry Alvarez, head football coach. Coach Lou, another quote, Coach Lou Holtz has written one of the um, best motivational, oh man, that happened. My computer just turned off for a second. I don't know what happened. But Coach Law has written one of the best motivational books that have ever read and how to be successful in whatever you do in life. Law Holtz has, this is by Stephen Spurrier. Um, Law has spent most of his adult life helping others achieve their full potential. He believes success depends not so much on abundance of God-given talent as it does on the passionate and intelligent application of the talent we have. Winning every day is the best of Law Holtz. This is by Richard A. Rosenthal. Oh man, my hand hurts, bro. Ah. Okay, we got another quote. The lessons contained in this book may start out having to do with the sports, but they apply to almost every aspect of life. The stories in this book are wonderfully entertaining, and the lessons are priceless. This book is about winning, written by a man who is true winner in every sense of the word, by Sean McNuss, President CBS Sports. Winning every day provides a simple formula for winning lifetime. This is by Donald R. Kina, chairman of the board. Yeah. Winning Every Day is a great book for anyone who would like to know Coach Holtz. His conversational writing style provides personal insight into a man whose ability to inspire and motivate is legendary. Law Holtz's philosophy is easily adaptable and teaches you how to reach and exceed your goals, not only in athletics, but business and daily living. This is by Christopher Sorich. I have known Law Holt, another one, for a long time as a man of un- unflinching and yelling character and integrity. It shows in this able, remarkable book. This is by Senator Jesse Helms. Law Holt has put in his book every element required for success in any endeavor. All who put into practice his 10 elements for success will raise their level of performance significantly, by J. M. Hager. Quote, this is the book we have all hoped Holtz would write. In these pages, he shares the wisdom and experience of a lifetime. It's a great read and sure to be a hit. By Dan Quayle. I don't know who Dan Quayle is. And one more, he says, Law Holtz is the best coach I have ever known. He is successfully simply because of the standards and expectation he has himself and those around him. And these are never compromised. In this book, Law Holtz, the coach of motivation, of motivator and the disciplinarian, gives you a plan for achievement. Oh man, my hands hurts. Oh crap. High standard of excellence in your life, family or business. A privilege of working for Law Holtz and learning the game plan firsthand. He made the difference in my life, and he can make a difference in yours. This is by Rick Minter. Yeah, I got my kids that are going to bed too at the same time. Oh man, what was that? Okay, that was the quotes that we read. So we're going to the next page. Winning every day, the game plan for success. Oh yeah, I want to be successful, bro. Let's read it. There is just a content right here. We don't have to read all of that. And we're going to forward. What is forward? And that's not even the first page yet. Okay, forward. What is this forward? Let's read. Let's start. So we're going to read all of this. Forward by Harley McKay says, in the course of a lifetime, I have been in a lot of locker rooms. I have hooted and shouted with the winners. I have wept with the losers. But this was like a no locker room I have been in before. There were about 100 bodies stuffed into the cramped tucked away locker room past the end zone in Sam Devil, a stadium in Tempe, Arizona, shorted into a corner of the coach's dressing room along with a few other well-wishers. I took it all in. This was no usual back slapping, towel snapping winners ritual of self-congratulation. The players seemed frozen in front of their lockers. Joy was written on their faces, but they were sub-expectant. We waited, all eyes turned the same direction, the room falling silent as the words began. We didn't go out and try to win a national championship, said Coach Holtz. We went out and tried to be the best that we could be. And because you ask that of yourself today and every day, you choose to do that after today. See, you gotta be the best that you can every day. For the rest of your lives, know this about yourself. You are a champion. Yes, I am a champion, bro. I am a champion. You have it in you to always be a champion. You are a champion too, and you know it. You have it in you always to be a champion. Yeah, we're all champions, bro. All of us. Okay. For those, for this young man, this will be. Did I skip a page? No. For this young man, this would be a maybe the highlight of their lives, a moment they would always cherish, whether or not they went on the glorious professional careers, football or otherwise. What made the experience even more special was that it was a compromise and untainted. Every opening was legitimate, every victory genuine, every foot to ground, and every touchdown earned. Notre Dame had finished the 1988 season as national champion with a perfect 12-0 records, beating Miami, then ranked number one, USC, then ranked number two, and finally West Virginia, then ranked number three. You plan, you commit to excellence, and it happens if you achieve your highest goal, you have the reward of knowing it was by your efforts that you earned it. Today that has happened. If somebody it doesn't, if you don't always achieve your goal, be sure that it's not for a one of trying. If you gave it the best that you had in you, you cannot ask yourself for more. No one can ask you for more. I have had the privilege of spending a good deal of time around law holds. What I have taken away from the relationship is not just a football experience, it's a life experience. Being successfully the Holds way means more than being successfully any way you can. Being successfully the Holds way means doing things the right way. The decent way is the way Law Holds coaches football, and the way he leads his life, win or lose. The language and behavior in a Holtz locker room and on the Holtz team is a different level than other locker rooms in other teams. Low Holtz is 5'10" inches and 150-pound giant. So I am 180, 82, 83 pounds. So I want to go to 153 pounds. I got to be like him, man. When you will see him on television pacing up and down the sidelines, he seems shorter and even more frail, in part because of the contrast between him and the what the heck is that word? Behemoth. B-E, right here. It's B, I don't know if you can see. It's B, oh man, my computer keeps turning on. I don't know why that's that. Uh, yeah, Behemoth is standing around him and in part because of huge, the huge, thick. Okay, glasses and clothes that always seem glass glass glasses and clothes that always seem a size too big for him. Up close, up close it seems bigger if he's speaking to you one on one. Even though he has a kind of lips, he grows a bit more. In front of the group, as he was that day, he is not just an individual. He becomes so large, he creates his own space. His he is a presence. I've seen him address groups of thousands, and I believe he is the best motivational speaker in the world. Holtz once wrote a list of 107 personal goals. You will read about them here. I know something about those 107 goals, 107 goals. And as aspect Holtz knows the same something too. Just as soon as he finishes the list, he will finish it. He is going to be miserable. Nothing to do, nothing to love, nothing to hope for. He's going to crumple his list into a little ball, throw it away, and make himself a new list. Now I have written enough nice things about Holtz being an age without heroes. It's time for the rough stuff. Holtz is such a determined competitor. He will go to any legitimate length to gain an edge on opponent. This clouds his judgment. Holtz will listen to anyone on the face of the earth who will give him a tip on how to improve his swing. Recently, we were in a cab in Phoenix, and the driver was telling us how he got a hot tip on the Golf Channel on television and cut a couple of strokes of his game. Immediately, Holmes made the driver stop the cab and demonstrate on the sidewalk of the corner of the Scotland and come back exactly what he had learned. No matter what Holmes writes here, I'd advise you not to take any golf advice from him. However, if my son or daughters were to ask me to name one person to go outside of their old name for any other kind of advice, I would name Law Holtz. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, the game plan introduction. It says introduction. Bam, right there, introduction. The game plan for success. Bro, we're going 16 minutes already. Bam, that's the timer right there. Let's go back. The game plan for success. Okay, I want to read it. Okay, winning is never an accidental. Yeah, that's right. All successful coaches and players, and I have known quite a few, have at least one thing in common: a strong game plan. I've seen teams short on talent with famous victories simply because they were better prepared, more focused than their oppositions. They had clearly defined goals and consistent work habits, and they weren't afraid to make the sacrifices required to raise their play to another level. If you want to achieve greatness in anything, you need the same resolve and discipline. You must design a strategy that will take you wherever you want to go. My hope is that this book will become your game plan for success. I have no literally pretentious. This isn't Faulkner or Leclerc resting in your hands. I don't know what is it. It never even occurred to me to write a book, but many people who have heard me speak have asked that I have commit my game plan for success to papers. Once I agree, my goal was to write a guide that was practical, easy to follow, and heartfelt. If reading my prose makes you feel as if you and I were chatting in your living room, that's exactly I was aiming. Much of what I have say is a step in verities that might seem unfashionable in a world that often appears to be as clinical as sophisticated. But I believe they are powerful and enduring, a greater value to than ever before. Right before now, you may be asking, who does this Holtz guy think he is? What qualifies him to tell me what I need to do to win every day? Well, I am with you. There is nothing extraordinary about me. However, I have done a few things that I am proud of. I have been married to the same woman for 38 years, in a time when more than half of my all marriages end in divorces. Tell me that isn't a fit. All four of our four children are college grads, and yes, they still speak to us. For 2 years running, an industry poll has selected me the best motivational speaker in the country. My tape, Do Right, is the top-selling motivational video of all times. I have appeared as a guest speaker before nearly every company listed in the Fortune 500. Ever hear of the Law Holtz Museum? I didn't think so. They have one in my hometown. It's Liverpool, Ohio. And all right, it's not as large as the Smithsonian. But even I was impressed when others had conceived the idea. There is also a highway named after me. But on days when traffic is backed up, it can be W's. Four different presidents have invited me to the Oval Office. Thought I have retired from football. I still work as a TV analyst for CBS Sports, and as this writing, I am one of the top 15 winning coaches in college football history. So much for the advertisement for myself. I am uncomfortable giving you my resume. I always believe that when you achieve something, you should let others talk about it rather than yourself. It's just my way of saying, look, with the help of many people, I have been able to accomplish some notable things. If I could do them, so can you. Because I am no more gifted than anyone who ever drew a breath. Yeah, that's right. It certainly wasn't superior intelligence that got me where I am. I graduated in the lower half of my high school class at best. My IQ is an average. I am a TV commentator, so I must be mesmerized or orator, right? As a matter of fact, I have had a pronounced lisp since childhood. It was so bad that when I was growing up in Follinsby, West Virginia, our family doctor wanted to operate on my tongue. They finally decided I would have to live with it, which is exactly what I didn't do. I worked diligently to overcome this affliction until it was no longer an obstacle. Since since I have a football background, you might assume I was an standout athlete, a monster of the gridiron. gridiron. Nope, I live on the third team most of my life. I'm sure I could have been better if someone hadn't left my name off the guest list um, the day it got handed out. Physics. I am 5'10", 150 pounds, wear thick glasses, and have imposing muscular body of a malnutrition poster boy. My family was poor. I was born in 1937. You have heard the Great Depression. In a basement we rent. My father, a bus driver, never got past the third grade. No one from either side of my family had ever attended college. Given my background, I know I have been blessed. Many people helped me get to where I am today. But much of what I have accomplished came out of a strategy I devised long ago. This book gives me the opportunity to share my good fortune. As you read it, you will quickly discover that choices are our game plans, breaks, and monitored. Everything that happens to us is a result of the choices we make. You choose to act or procrastinate, believe it or doubt, help or hinder, succeed or fail. My book is designed to help you put your game face on, to ensure that you are in a winning frame of mind every time you charge out onto the field. The plan is composed of 10 steps, each of them with their own importance. They worked for me in my life and career. I would like to think that they help the colleagues, players, and business people I talk to so frequently. The power of attitude. Let's read that. Power of attitudes. We're going 33 minutes so far. The attitude you choose to assume toward life and everything it brings you will determine whether you realize your aspirations. What you are capable of achieving is determined by your talent and ability. What you attempt to do is determined by your motivation. How well you do something is determined by your attitude. Correct. That was number one. Number two, tackle adversity. You are going to be knocked down. I have been on the top and I have been at the bottom. To achieve success, you are going to have to solve problems. If you react positively to them, you will be stronger and better than ever. You can assume that your competition have problems too. If you react to setbacks more quickly and positively, positively, you gain a distinct advantage. I have never encountered a person who achieved anything that didn't require overcoming obstacles. Yeah, expect them. Yeah, let's overcome obstacles. 3. Have a sense of purpose. Understand what you are trying to do. Stay completely focused on your original and primary purpose. Do not be sidetracked. If you own a business, help customers get what they want. If you want a promotion, give your employers what they want. Somebody who delivers a first-rate performance every day. 4. Make sacrifice your ally. You cannot be successful without making sacrifices. Most losing organizations are overpopulated with people who constantly complain about life difficulties. They will drain your enthusiasm and energy. Take pride in making sacrifices and having self-discipline. 5. Adapt or die. Things things are always changing, so embrace the fact that your life and career are always in transition. Yes, you will achieve your goals, but don't fall into the mistakes of thinking you don't have to do anything further. Even when you become number one, you will still need to stay focused on the fundamentals. 6. Chase your dreams. All great accomplishments start with a dream. That's correct. Dreams fuel your enthusiasm and visions. They give you a burning desire to get up in the morning and achieve. Yes. 7. Nurture your self-image. A positive self-image grows of having a strong character, to be trustworthy, committed to excellence, and show care for others are the underpinning of successful person. These qualities are so important. I devoted the last 3 steps to each of them. Foster trust. Number 8. All relationships are based on trust. I cannot begin to tell you how many people I have seen ruin tremendous opportunities because they didn't have the discipline and the decency to do what's right. Continually ask yourself, is this the right thing to do? Do what you feel is right regardless of peer pressure or personal desires. Success and confidence will not be far behind. Number 9, commit to excellence. Do everything to the best of your abilities. Everybody wants to be associated with the people who set and maintain high standards. Yeah, always try your best of your ability. When you lower the standards, you only invite mediocrity. When you lower, yeah, that's right. Handle with care. Treat others as you would like to be treated, with concern and care. So that's the plan. It has been blueprint for my success, and I assure you that you follow it. You will achieve all the things that you have set out to do, but it is up to you. The only person that can change you as a yourself, not me, your boss, the president, or the pope. You. Now let's suit up and let's murmur a prayer for any opponents and that dare get in our way. They are going to need all the help they can get. Oh wow, we receive. It says every. This is page 1 now. We're already page 1. It says every. We're like about 27 minutes. Every victory is won before the game is played. The power attitude. Okay. I left the collegiate ranks in 1976 to sign a 5-year contract to coach the New York Jets of the National Football League. This was one of the 2 or 3 most coveted coaching positions in pro football, with the organization known for its professionalism. Owner Leon Hess, an NFL pioneer, was a great leader who gave his employees maximum support. New York football fans were knowledgeable and second to none on their enthusiasm. It wasn't ideal for any coach, yet I was unhappy almost from the moment I took the job. Every time a problem surfaced, and no pro football team can go through an entire season without a share of travails. I immediately thought this isn't working out. When the Jets went on an abysmal 3-10 during my first season, I resigned only 8 months into my contract. Now let's look at the flip side of the experience. In 1983, the University of Minnesota hired me to coach its football team. 5 coaches and 3 assistant coaches had refused this position. The reason Minnesota's football program had been in shambles for some time. The team, known as the Gophers, had just compiled an ignominious 17-game losing streak in which they were outscored by an average of 34 points per game. No one believed in the school could quickly reverse its fortune. I declined the job when Minnesota administration initially offered to me. Besides having the same doubts as my colleagues, I couldn't see myself living in the tundra that was Minnesota. Harvey Mackay, the world-famed entrepreneur and best-selling author of How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, had to use all his considerable persuasive powers to convince me to accept the position. Am I glad he did? Minnesota proved to be a great place to live. The people were friendly, the fans exuberant, and the climate not quite Arctic. I mean, there's going to be words that I don't know how to say it. I will just try my best pronouncing it. I made up my mind early on that we're going to create a winning atmosphere. Fan Morale was low when I took over the team. Attendance had declined for years. Minnesota often plays games before a half-filled house. However, only 1 year after I joined the Gophers, we sold 54,000 more season tickets, 11,000 more than had been sold at any time during the school's 103 years history. Our winning records earned an invitation to play Clemson in the Independence Bowl. You couldn't have asked for a more rousing success. What made the difference between my experience with Jets and Gophers? Attitude. I joined the Jets suspecting I might fail. I came to Minnesota determined to win. With this positive outlook, I wasn't flustered when obstacles appeared. I knew we would overcome them. All that had changed was my perspective and, with that, my results. If I ever coach Pro Bowl again, I promise you I'm going to bring the same can-do attitude with me. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you do it. For example, imagine you are a high jumper with a muscular to leap 6'10". Your pride of performance motivates you to practice and enter events. But if on the day of the event you don't believe you can hit 6'10", you're going to fall short of the mark. Your negative attitude will cut inches from your performance. However, compete with the certitude that you will clear 6'10", and you will consistently match or better your expectation. A positive attitude is the key to attaining superior attitude. Yeah, that's right. Sweeter than any bowl of cereal. No one can control your attitude but you. Yet, too often, we let other people or external circumstances determine how we feel. In 1991, our team, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, was selected to play the University of Florida in the Sugar Bowl. Florida Gators were formidable opponents. Their coach, Steve Spurrier, was and is a brilliant leader and tactician. Gator quarterback Shane Matthews was a superior talent blessed with a strong arm and a field commander presence. No one thought we could win this game. In fact, we were such a decided underdog that many people wondered if we could even hold the scores close. But I believe we were poised to upset the Gators. Our team couldn't have been better prepared, and I knew our players were brimming with confidence. A few days before the bowl, I took my family to dinner in Orlando. We were talking about the upcoming game, and my family could see how optimistic I was about our chances. I felt like I was on top of the world. While taking our order, the waiter scrutinized me a bit before asking, "Aren't you Low the Notre Dame coach?" When I told him I was, he said, "Let me ask you a question. What is the difference between Notre Dame and Cheerios?" I didn't know. He answered, "Cheerios belong in a bowl. Notre Dame doesn't." I was meant to be a joke, but I couldn't find any humor in it. You want to talk about radical change in attitude? I am here to tell you I was upset. However, I remained outwardly calm. I said to the waiter, "It's my turn to ask you a question. What is the difference between low holes and a golf pro?" He said, "I don't know." I replied, "Golf pros give tips. Low holes won't." That's a good one. Now, if I didn't believe with all my heart that we were going to win the game, I would have left the dining room in a permanent funk. Those pesky gremlins of self-doubt would have been working at my ear. I may have started to question our ability, and believe me, that would have adversely affected our performance. Instead of, I sugar all my anger and reminded myself that I knew what our team could do. It didn't matter what anybody else thought. That's the attitude you have to carry into life. You cannot let naysayers pull you down. Remember, if someone says you cannot accomplish something, it is an opinion and nothing more. It only becomes a fact when you tell yourself that you cannot do a task. By the way, we upset the Gators in the Sugar Bowl when they blew the game's final whistles, sealing our victory. The first person I thought of was that waiter. I had the most satisfying image of him sitting at home crying into his churros. A passion for leadership. Another title. As a leader, your attitude has powerful impact on others. Whether the impact is positive or negative depends on the choices you make. You have an obligation to develop a positive attitude, one that inspires the people around you to achieve the impossible. Great leaders also possess a passion for their causes. If enough people care, there isn't any problem in this world we cannot solve. Sexism, racism, spousal abuse, poverty, all the great ills afflicting our society. We evaporate. However, most of us are too unconcerned to act on our own. We need leaders to stoke our passions. If you want to lead, that's the responsibility you must accept, and it starts with your own fervor. You cannot fake it. If you don't have a genuine hunger to accomplish something, you won't be able to lead anyone effectively. But if you have a passion, you will find it's an infectious thing. You will transmit it to others who will pledge heart and soul to your principle. Another title, Cotton Bowl 1988, A Turning Point. In 1987, my second year at Notre Dame, our football team took an 8-1 record into our season final. Two games. Unfortunately, the first of those contestants came against a tough Penn State squad and one of the coldest they have ever experienced as a coach. We lost 20 to 20, 21 to 20 when our two-point conversion failed to the game's last minute. Talk about disappointing losses. We never fully recovered from it. 1 week later, we traveled down to the play Miami, another powerful component in our season finale. We didn't play well that day, so we finished our season 8-3. That was a respectable record, thought, not by Notre Dame standards. Under normal circumstances, we might not have played any more football that season. However, the bowl bids that year had gone out earlier than usual. When we were still 8-1, we have been invited to play Texas A&M. Coached by Jackie Sherrill in the Cotton Bowl, I must tell you that the bowl officials were too delighted when we dropped those last two games, but with that, we belonged there. For the first portion of the Cotton Bowl, so did everyone else. Our defense played that on the second quarter midpoint. We led Texas A&M 10-0. Unfortunately, we played poorly the rest of the afternoon. Sherrill's team beat us decisively. I couldn't have been more dejected when I walked into the locker room after that game, but most of our players appeared unfazed. Only one of them seemed as distraught as I. Chris Sorick, a sub who hadn't even played that day, was crying deep. God having sobs. There was a passion and I wanted to see as I looked around the locker room. I decided the next year team would be composed of players who loved this game as much as he did. Chris would be in our starting lineup for the 1988 season. We would see it as that he joined by the band of fire eaters, guys who believed in themselves and what we were trying to accomplish. We were going to need them. Notre Dame was about to lose a group of talented seniors, such as receiver Tim Brown, promising Tim Brown, our Heisman Trophy winner. The next season didn't look too promising on paper. But fortunately, paper doesn't count for much. You still have to play the games. And besides, I had an agenda that went beyond our field performance. Win, win or lose, I wanted to coach the team with the best attitude in the entire country. There was one senior in our team by the name of Flash Gordon who wanted to return for his fifth year of ball. He had been starting defense and in '87, but due to an injury he had sustained early in his college career, he still had another year of eligibility remaining, knowing that the kind of players I was looking for. I advised Flash to forget football. I doubted he would start for us and felt he would regret any decision to return to our team. I wanted a particular attitude to permit our 1988 squad. What I envisioned was probably best summed up by a poster. I had seen that depicted a buzzard sitting on the tree limb while saying, "Patient my, patient my, what? My ass. I'm going to kill somebody." I expect everyone in our team to think that way. Flash had never demonstrated that kind of makeup. Makeup. Now understand, Flash is one of the finest young gentlemen I have ever known. He was hardworking, loyal, and popular with the other players. And students, his attitude couldn't have been more positive. But he didn't have any predators in him. He wasn't like the big bad buzzard on the poster. When the two of us met to discuss his future, Flash did everything he could to persuade me to accept his return. I finally relented with this caveat. If you present it to the first bit to the problem for us, I will not hesitate to suspend you. I actually had no real justification for taking such a harsh tone. Flash was a class. However, I wanted him to understand how integral proper attitude was to our future success. Flash started the first couple of games on our 1988 schedule, but was soon replaced by freshman defensive and Arnold L. Gordon had played decently, but we wanted to give Arnold chances to earn the starting position. During the middle of the season, we met the University of Pittsburgh on their home field. Flash barely played that day. It had to be a bitter afternoon for him. Pittsburgh was his hometown. The following week, we met the University of Miami, a classic confrontation between two outstanding teams. Flash Gordon again played a minimal role in the game and had few opportunities to make a substantial contribution. Throughout all of this, Flash's attitude remained positive and team oriented. However, on the Monday afternoon following the Miami contest, Flash revealed his unhappiness. He entered my office and said, "Coach, I don't think I am being treated fairly." Flash pointed out that he had done everything he could possibly to do to help the football team, even though hardly ever play. Now he was asking for a square deal. He said, "I don't believe I am being appraised by the same standards as the other players on my position." I allowed him to make his case, which he did eloquently. Then I replied, "Flash, I really appreciate the wonderful attitude you have displayed this entire season. Let me get a defensive coordinator in your position, coach, and we'll review your situation." I brought in both coaches. We studied his grades and production as compared to the other defensive ends. The facts were clear. Flash was right. He had performed as well, if not better than anybody at his position. I said, "Flash, we will see that you get back on the field. How much you play after that will be entirely up to you." You know what? Over the final 5 games of the season, Flash Gordon wasn't good. He was phenomenal, when we played for the national championship, he turned his game up several coaches. He might be our most outstanding defensive player. I'm not sure we could have won that championship without Flash on the field contribution, but it was his attitude off the field that was even more important to our success. And of course, we couldn't have won without Chris Shortis, the young man whose cloudburst after the Cotton Bowl helped convince me we needed and altered the chemistry in our team. Chris went from sub to starter to team captain. He was one of our premier leaders when we won the national championship, which was fitting since he helped start our turnaround. Tolkien ain't doing. I don't believe you can change anybody's attitude with even the most inspiring pep talk unless it is supported by results. I remember when I was in high school, my coach gave us the greatest pep talk I have ever heard. Nook Rockney would have imbued him. I don't think I have ever been as fired up for a football game as I was that night. I ran down under the opening kickoff field with the speed of and fire. Then some guy hit me on the jugular vein with his helmet, knocking me flat. Suddenly I couldn't remember a word that coach had said. I just lay there making little whimpering sounds as my teammates helped me up. I left my positive attitude laying somewhere on the field. Unstoppable force. I love to tell the story about an army private who had pulled KP duty. KP duty. After 12 hours of peeling potatoes, he came back to the barracks exhausted. He was so bone tired he could barely manage to drop his warm body on the bed. Didn't even bother to take off his clothes. As he rolled over to catch some much needed Z's, he noticed there was a letter from his girl on his pillow. He quickly opened it and read, "Dear John, if I could feel your strong masculine arms embrace me one more time, if I could gaze into those big crystal blue eyes of yours one more time, or if I could taste your sweet, tender lips just one more time, I know I could continue to be true." But John didn't bother to read anymore. He jumped from the bed and took off. Forget how fatigued he was. This was a man on a mission. John was running off the military post, doing the 100 in about 9.5. When he approached the guardhouse, the guard on duty saw him coming, took out his M14 rifle, and aimed at John's heart. "Hold, or I will shoot," he shouted. John never broke stride. He left the guard no options. The very last words John uttered were this: "My mother is in heaven. My father, crap." um, I, where is it? Man, I lost it, dude. Okay. Okay, should have John never broke his stride. He left the guard. Okay, I was reading. Okay, my mother is in heaven. My father is in hell. My girl is in Chicago, and I'm going to see one of them tonight. That's what I call a determined attitude. This boy could have played for one of my teams anytime. People cannot change, huh? Asked Mr. Bettis. When Jeremy Bettis left the University of Notre Dame to enter the NFL, he was a great football player and unyielding competitor with a true warrior's attitude. No one who knew what he was made of was surprised when the media named him a Rookie of the Year. While playing for the Los Angeles Rams during the first season, he had been a human wrecking ball, the talk of the leagues. Unfortunately, he regressed somewhat the following year. His decline continued through his third year. If you are going to understand Jeremy, you have to know why most players would have been delighted. With the stats Jeremy compiled during those 3 years, but the numbers weren't up his standards. He knew he was capable of doing more. During our football season, I didn't have a chance to see a lot of pro games. However, an open date in November gave me an opportunity to catch a Rams contest. I was eager to watch Jerome and Notre Dame Los Angeles gift cornerback compete. Jerome's performance disappointed me. When you are a leader and you know someone is under achievement, you must know how to push his or her buttons. I had an idea how to get through the Mr. Betty's. I phoned him the following day and said, Jerome, I would like you to know that there is some idiot wearing a jersey with your name and number on it. This pretense is damaging your reputation. This guy is not picking up linebackers, is not running hard enough, and is not competing with enthusiasm. So I know it is not you because you have never played like this before. I just thought I ought out to let you know that this idiot is doing this. See if you cannot put a stop to it because he's giving you a bad name, then I hung up. On the first day of class for the following semester, January 17, on my calendar, Jerome came to my office to say, Coach, you were right. When I left here, I had a great attitude, and now I don't. I'll return to Notre Dame to get it back. And you know what? That's exactly what he did. When Bill Cowher of the Pittsburgh Steelers acquired him during the offseason, I knew Jerome was going to resurrect his career. Cowher was the perfect match for him. I had recruited and coached Bill at North Carolina State. Since then, he had become one of the FNL's best coaches, and I knew he had a knack for devoting a player's attitude. Jerome has thrived under him. He has made All Pro for the past 2 years and is going to be a force in the FNL for many seasons to come. His career revival demonstrates how you can change your attitude for the better if you are willing to make the commitment. I miss punt on my own. Before every home football game as Notre Dame, we hold a sit-down luncheon in the Joyce Athletic Center. Nearly 3,000 people attended. This luncheon was always a sellout. He demanded tickets was so high. Some folks sold them as scalper prices. The people who couldn't get in, about 1,000 to 1,500 of them, would command their seats in the hockey arena located at the end of the center just so they could hear the program. As part of our presentation, I will introduce three football players who would stand before the audience and discuss their most memorable Notre Dame experience. An assistant coach would follow with a short talk. Then I would raise the answer audience questions. So this was always an upbeat affair. The players usually thanked their parents and various other people before relating their stories. You couldn't help but impressed by the eloquence of this fine young man. I cannot remember listening to a single athlete who didn't make me proud to be his coach. However, there was one speaker who generally shocked me, Craig Hintree, probably the best punter in Notre Dame history. Craig rose after I had given him a lavish introduction. I expected Craig to follow tradition and regale us with warm stories about all the wonderful times he had enjoyed at South Bend. Instead, he launched into a tirade about how unfairly I had treated him. Craig claimed that I lacked a genuine appreciation for his talent. As evidence of this, he pointed out that I was the only coach in America who traveled with one kicker and two priests. Every other school had two or three kickers on their teams, but according to Craig, bringing an extra priest meant one less kicker. He went on to lament how he never had anybody to talk during pre-game warm-ups. Craig continued to this vein for what felt to me like a small eternity before finally sitting down. I got up, looked at him, and leaped. If you kick us a little better, we would only need one priest. The audience laughed uncontrollably, but believe me, I got Craig's message. I didn't agree with all of it. I did realize how important the kicking game was. We always work hard on this singular phase of our game. If you check the stats, you will discover what year in the year out. We have one that I could have been more demonstrative of my appreciations for his efforts. Leaders must know what motivates their people. Some will not do their best until you kick them in the butt. Others need continued pats on the back. Craig obviously needed some stroking. I should have gone out on my way to let him know integral he was a Notre Dame success. I respected his dedication and commitment to excellence. I should have told him that had I taken the time, Craig's attitude would have been better. He probably would have been even more productive than he was, which would have been something to see since Craig still holds most of the Notre Dame's kicking records and was one of the fiercest competitors I have coached. He went on to punt on the Super Bowl's championship Green Bay Packers and just recently signed a $5 million contract to play with Oilers. You have to identify the problem before you can solve it. That's another title. I have also seen how events can adversely affect the attitude of individual or team, and consequences hurt their performance. During my final year at Notre Dame, we started the season 3-0 after beating the University of Texas in Austin with an inspired effort. I came home eager to prepare the team for our next opponent. My Ohio State, the game was scheduled for our own turf, and I knew it was going to be a war. There is no greater feeling for a coach than the one he gets when he walks onto the practice field on Monday before a big football game. Your adrenaline is racing, team moral is soaring, and the camaraderie between your players a player is palpable. Everyone is focused on the same goal. The energy is so high, you would swear the playing field was radioactive. At least that's how it's supposed to be. So you can imagine how disappointed I was when I encountered an entire team and motivated players of first practice when they took the field look as they were just going through the motions. We could have no been flattered and wasn't as we were uh, simply having a bad day. The team's nonchalance continued throughout the week. This concerned me, however, instead of doing something about it, I rationalized the players were probably preoccupied with their academics. Looking back, though, that would not have explained why the team seemed sort of character. They weren't, oh man, my eyes. Oh. Explain why the team seemed out of character. They weren't merely listless. They seemed divided. I started getting paranoid. I even entertained the notion that someone was deliberately sowing the seeds of the loyalty among us. I will never see anything like this. Of course, it never occurred to me that team might be suffering a collective crisis of confidence. We were the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Our script called for us to make the other team apprehensive, not the other way around. Whatever was dodging us, neither I nor the team could shake it. When we play Ohio, we were as flat as in the game, as we have all the week during practice. They should whip us in game as I thought we would win. Oh, did that lost game my confidence? A bruising, I returned home disappointed after the game in myself, not the players. I wonder if the problem was me. Had I lost my ability to inspire our players for the first time? I considered quitting. I later discovered that a variety of factors had contributed to our poor attitude and our victory over Texas A&M. I would serve no useful purposes to recount what happened in detail. None of these players were directly involved in the incident, but effectively everyone on the squad. I didn't learn all the faces later, until much later in the season. I have to take some blame for that. When I saw our teams in Koi, hey Civis, I should have done everything I could do discover the cause relationship, no rationalization and speculation did not get the job done. I should have called a team meeting, locked the doors, and announced that no one was leaving until we uncover our problem. As a leader, you're responsible for everything that occurs on your watch. If you notice moral drooping, you must take decisive actions before the situation becomes chronic and jeopardizes your entire organization. Oh man, I read some pages. It says 15, but we started way earlier than that. So but anyway, guys, it's been an hour. I only want to do this an hour because I don't have much time. It's almost like 12 p.m. I mean 12 a.m. I gotta sleep. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Yeah. But anyway, so we'll finish. I think I gotta finish this on my own, but it's a pretty good book. I read an hour, and that's pretty good, and I like that. I try my best, and there is some new words I need to learn. It's a pretty interesting book. So the winning every day, that's a pretty good one. All right, alrighty, guys. Let's see the timer. I want to show a timer. We have been an hour and 1 minute so far. Okay, alrighty. So hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, I want to do this an hour, or maybe I should start a lot earlier than this. But anyway, so today just an hour because I gotta go to work tomorrow. But it was a good read. I like it. Learning one thing every day. That's pretty good. All right, guys, take it easy. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next. Peace out. Bye.